All right, what's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome back to Harkdawg's Week 15 NFL Pick'em against the spread and straight up. And I got FitzCanada joining me here again for his second week. He had a little nerves the first week, I think. I think we both did. So we're looking to pick it up here in the second week. How's it going, Fitz?
Going pretty well. I'm ready to do what I failed to do last week and make some good picks.
All right. Yeah, well, let's go over the results. Last week I was 6-10, win-loss, and versus the spread. That puts me at 121-87 win-loss with the straight up, and then 106-96 versus the spread. So definitely going downhill a little bit there, but still maintaining, still fourth place in my league. Fitz, you are 5-11 straight up against the spread last week to put you at 120-88 straight up, and 76, 77, and 6 against the spread. So you're one under 500 now.
If you're going downhill, I'm falling off a cliff.
Yeah. Well, you got 3 weeks. We got 48 games here the last 3 weeks, so it is possible to pick it up here and possibly get that win, if you know what I mean.
I plan to.
So, I think I lost the spread for the San Diego game. Okay, I got it. Never mind. I got it. I accidentally typed in my spreadsheet letter C over it. So, okay. All right, so let's jump in. Thursday night game. St. Louis favored by a point at home against Tampa Bay. St. Louis is coming off a win against Detroit. Detroit had the hangover from the Hail Mary from the Packers. I just feel that hangover lasted, and their hopes kind of died for the playoffs, and that's why St. Louis kind of took care of them. Tampa Bay, they got beat last week by New Orleans at home. I feel like they just didn't play a good game. They had a chance to tie it there towards the end. I think they've been playing pretty good ball. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay in this one. Not really feeling it. I feel it's a coin flip, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Tampa Bay too. They're the better team, just straight up. Rams just aren't very good, but they do pull off the odd upset. I mean, they tend to always beat the Seahawks, so they can beat pretty much anybody, but then they lose to bad teams, mediocre teams, so can't rely on them. I'll take the Buccaneers, even though they lost last week.
Okay, so both got Tampa Bay in that game. All right, let's move on to the Saturday game. Yes, the Saturday games have finally started now that college football is over. And we got Dallas underdogs by 3 points at home against the Jets. We saw what Dallas did last week against my Packers. My reverse psychology worked, and Dallas only scored 7 points, and the Packers covered the spread. I feel like the Jets are just too strong. They got Marshall, Decker, Chris Ivory, Fitzpatrick, game manager, and that really good defense. I think they're just going to be too much for Dallas, even though Dallas is at home this week. I'm taking the Jets and the 3 points.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Jets to win and cover. Marshall and Decker are one of, if not the best pair of receivers in the league this year. Fitzpatrick is, I think, 4 touchdowns short of tying the Jets' record for touchdown passes in a season. I don't think he gets 4 this week, but I think he gets 3. Yeah, 29 is the record, and he has 25 now. I think he'll get 3 this week.
Wow.
Two to Marshall, 1 to Decker, and they should win pretty easily.
I like that combo. Sounds good. Wow, I can't believe it's only 29.
Yeah.
Gotta be more. All right, let's move on to the Sunday games. Minnesota favored by 5 points at home against Chicago. Now, Minnesota riding a 3-game losing streak, and they've just been getting stomped, even though they put up a good fight in Arizona last week. I think they will win this game at home. I think Chicago's going to keep it tight. I think with Forte and Langford in the backfield, Cutler having a good game-managing type year, Alshon Jeffrey catching the ball. I think Marquise Wilson is down, but you still have Zach Miller, and if you can catch the ball, Cutler is going to try and fit it into you. So I got Chicago covering the spread. I think Minnesota is going to win by a field goal in this one. So Chicago, what do you think?
Vikings win and cover simply because they earned my respect last week. I'm not even sure if they played up to Arizona's level or Arizona played down to their level with all the injuries that Minnesota had. But they still managed to make that a close game. They ruined our picks against the spread. So,
I
think they got it this week. They'll win and cover.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next game, America's team, my Jacksonville Jaguars, favored by 3 points against just the sewer-ridden team that is the Atlanta Falcons. And Jacksonville putting up a 50-burger at home, and it almost like they didn't even try, and they put up 50 points against Indianapolis. They put up 42 points in the second half of that game. And Bortles, that kick return, the fumble return for a touchdown.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson, Hearns is back. Julius Thomas. I mean, Bortles is just spreading the ball around. TJ Yeldon, even though he's hurt, you got Denard Robinson coming in this week. I think he'll fill in nicely, take his 15 carries, 75, 80 yards, maybe a touch. But I think Jacksonville's going to win this game because Atlanta just doesn't have much outside of Julio and Devontae Freeman because Matt Ryan's just playing bad.
Is it America's team or London's team?
It might be London's team.
Sooner or later. I can't see that happening.
Yes.
It just seems so bizarre.
No, I don't think so.
But anyways, yeah, Jags got this one, win and cover. We got Houston and Indy playing each other this week.
Yep.
So even if the Jags win, they're still going to be behind the winner of that game. But they're going to make it interesting down the stretch.
Yep.
So I think they will miss the division title by 1 game, but they'll have to win this game to make it that close, and I think they will do that.
Yeah, they're going to make it interesting. And speaking of that Indianapolis-Houston game, Indianapolis favored by 2.5 points. Matt Hasselbeck still has trouble breathing for his rib injury, so it might be Charlie Whitehurst starting for Indianapolis, and that I don't think is going to bode very well because we all know what Whitehurst did in, Tennessee?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything good. And Houston, Hoyer's coming off concussion, but I think he's going to at least be manageable. And he's got DeAndre Hopkins. He's got Nate Washington down there. He's got Cecil Shorts. He's got people to throw to. I think Houston's defense is way better than Indianapolis, even with Watt and a cast. And I think they're going to win and cover this game in Indy. I think Indy's just going to fold the year up and hope for a healthy Andrew Luck next year.
Yeah, I've got the Texans winning and covering too. I think it really is just as simple. Like you said, J.J. Watt just going to get to whoever the quarterback is, whether it's an injury-riddled geriatric Hasselbeck or a clipboard Jesus back there. They're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble with J.J. Watt in that defense. And their secondary is pretty good too. So if Gore doesn't have a good day and they get forced to throw, I think it's going to be trouble for that Indy offense. So won't be a barn burner. It's going to be low scoring, probably around 20 points total. But I'll take the Texans win and cover that.
All right, sounds good. Then we have Philadelphia Eagles at home, underdogs by 3.5 points against the surging Arizona Cardinals, 11-2. Now Philly is actually surging themselves a little bit. Back-to-back wins over some AFC East opponents and the Patriots and Buffalo Bills. I just think Arizona is a more well-rounded and healthy team than and disciplined team, because Buffalo is not disciplined. They're going to set some sort of record, I guess, for most penalties in the season. And Bruce Arians is going to go in there. He's going to outcoach Chip Kelly. They have the better QB. They have the better receivers. Their running back is comparable. And they got the better defense. So I'm going to go Arizona to win and cover this game in Philly.
Yep. I agree with you again. Arizona, I have been betting against Philly pretty much all year. No reason to stop now. I cannot believe in that team. I don't care if they've won 2 games straight now. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. Arizona is just too good this year. Last week was a bit scary, but I'm willing to write that off as just an off week. So they come back to form here.
Yep. All right. Both picking Arizona there. I think that's a good choice. Next game, New York Football Giants coming off the win in Miami on Monday night. Short week, but they got to take on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers favored by 5 points in New York. Now, I'm going to go with the Giants on this one. I just think Carolina, especially with Jonathan Stewart out for this game, they're going to have to rely on Fozzie Whitaker and Tolbert, and that's definitely a downgrade. Cam is going to... I feel like the whole Cam to Ted Ginn going deep, they're going to be like having a single high safety deep over the top on Ted Ginn all day long. So they're going to have to nickel and dime it. Olsen's banged up. It's going to be a closer game than expected, especially in New York. And the way Odell Beckham's been playing the last 3-4 weeks, I feel that they're going to cover the spread in this one. Maybe win, but I'm not going to go that far. I just think I'm going to pick them to cover the spread in this one.
And the Giants, they are that team that comes up big against the Patriots, the big teams. They're the Giants, but they're also the Giant Slayers. But the Panthers, they're not the Patriots. They're good, but they're just not. Respect to them, but their schedule has been an absolute cupcake this year.
Yeah.
And the Giants' defense is historically bad. Like, it is awful, just awful this year. And he might not have. You said Jonathan Stewart is out this week. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Panthers get it done. They won't win it ever.
All right. Very good. Now, the aforementioned New England Patriots at home against the very lowly reeling Tennessee Titans. They are favored by 14 points at home. And for what Tennessee did last week in New York, putting up 8 points, the Jets putting a 30 spot on them. Gronk will be healthier this week, obviously. Edelman's been practicing. I don't know if he's going to be playing, but there is an outside chance. James White and Brandon Bolden will be handling the workload. It's not the power that LeGarrette Blount had. But New England at home against a reeling Tennessee Titans team with Delaney Walker calling out his defense that they're giving up on plays. I think New England is going to take it to Tennessee, and they're going to win by at least 17 points. I feel like it's going to be a 30-13 game. Tennessee just doesn't have that much on offense or defense to stop New England.
Yep, I completely agree with you. Patriots win and cover probably, I would say, by at least 3 touchdowns. It's
okay.
It's not going to be pretty if you're a Titans fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, it hasn't been pretty all season for them.
No.
Started off good, but then it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah.
Okay, then we got the Washington Redskins at home, underdogs by a point to the Buffalo Bills. Now, I don't know how Buffalo is ever favored in a game. It must be just due to record, because they are the most undisciplined team. And besides the Tyrod Taylor to Sammy Watkins connection, LaShawn McCoy is all talk, no walk. Washington had a good win in Chicago last week. They held on. I watched that game. And Robbie Gould missing that field goal to force overtime was pretty poor. But Washington made the plays when early and held on late. And I think at home that they will make the plays early and hold on late again here and win and cover this game and try and take a stranglehold on this division. At least put the pressure on Philly and the Giants to come up big and with some other wins. So I got Washington covering and winning in this game.
Yeah. I'm going to go also with the Redskins to win and cover here. It's Buffalo. I want to like Buffalo. I want to cheer for Buffalo. I want to see them make the playoffs, but it's just this isn't the year.
Well, you went to that awesome game last year. It was
awesome, yeah. So, I mean, they're kind of, they're my second or whatever. But, so undisciplined. I mean, I thought it was frustrating watching the Bengals over the years and all their undisciplined penalties. This is a whole other level.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and I really want to see the Redskins win that division. It would just be way too good. And Kirk Cousins is playing well. He should keep it going this week. They'll pick it up. They'll win and they'll cover.
All right, both got Washington there. Next game, the reeling Baltimore Ravens visited by Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 7.5 points. Now, Baltimore put up barely any fight against Seattle last week. Russell to Doug Baldwin, that combo just disintegrated them like they disintegrated everybody the last 3 weeks. Kansas City did not cover the spread against San Diego, but if you watch that game, it was pretty much a steady deluge the entire game. Kansas City jumped out to a 10-0 lead early. San Diego has no offense, but I think it was just a ground and pound slippery mud fest there in Kansas City, and no one wanted to score points. Everybody just wanted to get to the locker room and have a nice warm cup of tea and go to bed. But I think Kansas City's going to come out and show its domination against a very depleted Baltimore team. who Shaw might not even start. Obviously, they have no one on offense besides Javorius Allen. And if they shut Javorius Allen down, which I think the Kansas City D will, Kansas City is going to win and cover this game, especially with Jarkandrick West coming back, being extra healthy this week.
Yeah. Baltimore, from their 53-man roster at the start of the season, I think 22 or 23 of those players are not on the active roster right now because they're injured. IR, 22 or 23 of them. Their locker room is like a hospital.
It is.
And to make matters worse, you have whoever they have at quarterback, not Matt Schaub. I think they had the guy that played for the Bears this year.
Yeah, they had starts with a C.
Yeah, well, QB3. We'll call him QB3 because that's who's playing for them right now. And
yeah, I can't even think of his name. He was so bad.
They're just not going to win. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So yeah, Chiefs win and cover.
All right, Chiefs there. Next game, now another big spread. Seattle favored by 14.5 points against the Cleveland Browns. Seattle's at home. Obviously, we know what Russell's been doing the last 4 weeks, throwing up like 16 touchdown passes. We know that Rawls is out, and we don't really understand who's going to come in as far as the lead back. It looks like it's going to be Bryce Brown, but they picked up Christine Michael, and they have Fred Jackson as their third down back. But I think it's going to be primarily Wilson through the air, and Bryce Brown's going to be like the game manager, running back sort of thing. And Cleveland with Johnny Manziel, they won last week, but they won against the 49ers, and they won at home. And it wasn't, that was just an ugly game all around. And Seattle's a much more disciplined team with a much more disciplined defense. I think Seattle is going to win and cover. It's such a huge spread. I feel like Cleveland might lose by 2 touchdowns, and at half a point might be big, but I just got to go with Seattle here. I have no trust in Johnny Manziel in Seattle.
Johnny Manziel. I like Johnny. I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he could become a pretty good quarterback. May never be great, but I think he can play. What he's shown this season has been pretty good. He might have a winning record, or he's even, like 2-2 or something. But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I read today that he apparently has been hanging out with or keeping in touch with Josh Gordon a lot.
Really?
That explains a lot, doesn't it? The guy.
I wonder what they're doing.
I wonder what they're doing, man. But you know what? And if Josh Gordon does come back to play next year, which I think he's eligible to do, he's under contract with the Browns. Could be good things in Cleveland. Not that they're going to make the playoffs, but they could show some offense. But this week, Seahawks win and cover. 14 points. It doesn't matter. The Browns are terrible.
Yes, they are. All right, now we all know what I'm going to pick in this game. Oakland underdogs by 3 points against my Green Bay Packers. The resurging Green Bay Packers the last 2 weeks after I had Hail Mary. They didn't need one against Dallas last week. They played well. They ground pound, put up 240 yards on the ground with Starks, Rodgers, and Lacey. Lacey being the feature back there. Starks with a couple touchdowns, 1 receiving. Oakland putting up a big win against Denver, but not big points. Only 15 points, which against that Denver defense is more than Green Bay put up. It's at home. I feel like Green Bay is a better offense than Denver is. I feel like they have a comparable defense, not to the extent of Denver's quality, but I feel like the talent is there, and I think the quality will get there in a couple of years, especially with the young secondary that they have. And they're maturing well. And Oakland, if they stop Carr, they stop the Cooper and Crabtree combo and try and make them ground and pound with Murray, it's going to be a long day for Oakland. And my boy Charles Woodson is not going to pick off Aaron Rodgers this week, and it's going to be Green Bay all the way.
As a matter of fact, Charles Woodson will pick off Aaron Rodgers this week, but it won't be his fault.
Oh,
it won't be his fault. It's going to go off the hands of Randall
Tip
Cobb.
trail, huh?
That's what's going to happen. And what's the spread?
Okay. It is 3 points for the
just
Packers.
3. Okay. See, that makes things complicated because I don't think the Raiders will win.
Yeah, it.
All right. Packers win and cover. I can't do it. If it was 7, I would probably take Raiders, but not with 3. Packers win and cover.
Okay. All right, I like the way you think. Now we're going to big game in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh favored by 6 points against the visiting Denver Broncos. Now, the aforementioned Broncos coming off a big loss. They were up 12-0 in that first half. They held the Oakland Raiders to minus 12 yards total for the first half and somehow still lost the game. Well, that's because their offense couldn't put up any points. Their receivers drop a lot of balls. Pittsburgh's receivers don't drop balls, and Ben Roethlisberger knows how to put it in places where it's going to get them a lot of yards and probably run into the end zone. And I think they just got the better all-around offense because Denver just doesn't have the offense to keep up. They have a good defense, but they don't have an offense to keep up. And I think Pittsburgh, with their offense, D'Angelo Williams, Roethlisberger, Brown, Bryant, Wheaton, Heath Miller, very healthy offense. They're going to win and cover this game, I think, in Pittsburgh.
It is looking more and more like we could be seeing a Steelers-Seahawks rematch in the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
It's becoming pretty realistic. All the top 3 teams that were on a whole other tier in the AFC, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Patriots, they've all kind of been taken down a rung on the ladder. And the Steelers just keep climbing. Keep getting healthier. They keep putting up more points. They keep breaking the thumbs of their opposition's quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, he broke his own thumb by
he did. Yeah.
What an idiot. Just
you can
go in with your shoulder. Lead with a shoulder or something.
Right. But
yeah. And Brett Favre played with a broken thumb. I think Dalton can't do that, though.
I wouldn't want him to, no. He's also not 50.
Yeah, that's true.
Pittsburgh. Are they the real deal? Can they pull this one off? Recent play sure says that they can. Denver, though? What's the spread?
6 points.
In favor of Denver?
No, Pittsburgh at home.
I'll take Denver to cover. Pittsburgh to win. Denver to win. Denver wins and covers. That defense is going to...
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yep. Doing
it. Big pick. All right. Going out on a limb. Well, he might not be. It's going to be a good game. Yes, it is. And we all know when defense meets a good offense, it's usually a defense that wins. Unfortunately. We saw that in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. All right, so we got San Diego at home, favored by 1.5 points against the Miami Dolphins. Now, I don't know why Miami did not run Lamar Miller in the second half last week. He had 2 touchdowns, 75 yards on the ground, and he touched the ball a total of 4 times in the second half, which is probably the dumbest move possible. Now, San Diego, coming off that loss in Kansas City, they had a chance to tie at the end. I just feel like it was just a slop fest that kept San Diego in that game. KC didn't really have much of a run game. San Diego doesn't have a run game. They don't have much of a pass game outside of Gates and Floyd, maybe Stevie Johnson. And I just think Miami, they're going to hand the ball off to Miller 25 times this game. Tannehill is going to be a game manager, and they're just going to ground and pound that terrible defensive line, banged up defensive line of San Diego, and they're going to win this game in San Diego and cover the points and spread.
Nope, San Diego wins and covers. This is, I think it's their last home game, is it not? Potential last home game ever in San Diego.
Yeah, the same thing for the Rams,
too. It's going to be emotional. Phillip Rivers is an emotional player, to say the least.
Yep.
He will ball out. Now, of course, his receivers might fail him, but I think we'll pull it out. I think they'll destroy Miami. I think they're just gonna lay it down.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you saw
a destruction, huh?
you saw the coaching.
Okay.
You saw. I was watching that game, and we both picked Miami. Or no, I picked Miami. You took New York, and I said, yeah, Miller keeps running it. They can win this. And look what they did. They kept running it with Miller. They were winning. They were going to win that game,
Okay.
and then for some reason they stopped, and they lose the game.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Chargers.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
this is just what happens. This is the storybook ending for the Chargers. They will win the open big.
Okay. All right, sounds good. The emotion riding high there. Now we got San Francisco at home against the A.J. McCarron-led Cincinnati Bengals. San Francisco coming off just a bad loss in Cleveland. Cincinnati coming off a rough loss at home against Pittsburgh. Dalton breaking his thumb. Eifert going out with a concussion. I just want to put it this way. San Francisco's QB and Gabbert is still not as good as McCarron. McCarron threw for 280 yards. I mean, he had a couple bad picks, but I think with a week of practice, he's going to look a little bit better. The running back situation is way better in Cincinnati. They're going to help him out. They're going to ground and pound. And the defense is way better in Cincinnati as well. And I think even with McCarron there, San Francisco just doesn't have the offense to compete with Cincinnati. And it's only 4.5 points. So, I mean, that's 2 field goals. That's a 26-21 type thing. I think Cincinnati's going to win and cover this game, even with McCarron there. And it's going to put some confidence in that team that they can win without Andy Dalton at the helm.
The Cincinnati Bengals are so much better as a team than the San Francisco 49ers. They could throw in QB3 from the Baltimore Ravens at the helm and still beat the 49ers. And A.J. McCarron is much better than QB3 from the Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, Bengals will win and they will cover. It's a shame about Dalton, but there is a chance he'd get back for the playoffs. If he does, I believe that they will win. I don't know who they're playing at, but I believe they'll win as a Bengals fan. I think they'll finally get the one if they get Dalton back. With McCarron, they're probably done, admittedly, because the rest of the field in the AFC is looking so much stronger.
Yeah, I feel like it's
the Wild.
Yeah, it's a lot closer between Dalton and McCarron than we're making it out to believe just because Dalton's been there for 5 years now. It's a lot closer. I mean, McCarron was throwing some balls and some really good, deep cuts, deep seam routes, especially to A.J. Green.
I don't feel that way. I actually feel that hearing people's reactions about Dalton going down and people saying, okay, they're done, stick a fork in him for the playoffs. Yeah, McCarron's a backup, but you go back a year or 2 years ago where everybody, you have the Dalton line, everybody talking about Andy Dalton, the absolute worst that you would want starting for your team. People would have said, good, now you maybe McCarron in. But it just goes to show the way people have reacted, saying that the Bengals are done because Dalton's hurt. It shows how good he has started to play. That he actually, he's making his team win. He's not just, he's not just not impeding them anymore. Whenever they won before, it was say, okay, well, Dalton didn't get in the way. But he's not just not getting in the way now. He's driving the team. So many games this year, he has just straight out won for them. The comeback against Seattle, that was all Dalton. Dalton balled out that game. That 5-yard touchdown run, that was beautiful. From the little QB sneak down the middle, 5 yards from the end zone. Stuff like that.
True.
Dalton's
well, we'll find out this Sunday.
We'll find out, but Bengals winning cover.
Yeah, we'll see how good this team really is. Okay, now Monday night, we got New Orleans favored by 3 points at home in the Superdome against the reeling Detroit Lions, who have just pretty much given up, especially last week in St. Louis. They did not play very well at all. I have New Orleans winning and covering this game. I just think with that win that they had in Tampa Bay, gave them a little bit of confidence. Even with Mark Ingram down, Hightower had that, veteran leadership back there, got enough yards, got a touchdown. Breeze, they did enough on defense to hold Winston at bay, hold Mike Evans back, Doug Martin. There's some weapons in Tampa Bay. I think Cooks is going to be a factor in this one. Willie Snead, Benjamin Watson, those are the big 3 guys. And I think Drew Brees is going to hook up with those guys for over 300 yards of passing against the reeling Detroit team in the Superdome. And they're going to win this game and send Detroit packing once again. So I got New Orleans this one.
Detroit winning and covering. The Saints have been back and forth all year. They just can't play with any consistency.
That's true.
No matter what happened last week, their defense is awful, and it's still awful. And the Lions can put up points. Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Abdullah, they've got some weapons there, and they're going to go into the Superdome here. Going to throw down the Saints.
All right, yeah, probably another big Golden Tate day.
Yeah.
It's looking like a possibility, especially on New Orleans defense, which is
no, it's going to be Calvin Johnson, though. He's the big target. He's going to torch that defense.
And Calvin did nothing last week, so that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We shall see on Monday night. So remember to place your picks down below in the comments section. Put the team, win and cover, or win and don't cover. And see how you do against me and Fitz this week. We did bad against each other last week, but I pulled ahead by 1 game in the total and a few games in the overall spread. So, remember to like the video and also subscribe for more NFL pick'ems. We only got 2 weeks left after this one. So, anything to say, Fitz?
I mean, better luck than last week, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty tough to do worse than last week. 5-11, 6-10. I hope we do better this week.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I think we could probably pick blind and still do better. So. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping for at least a 10-11 win week. I need that. I need that really badly.
Yeah, well, you got money on it. You need it. At this point, I'll be happy with breaking 500 because that's where I'm at right now.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, we will always see you next time. Take care, everybody.